Hey guys, it's Jsnow with a Legion WoW gold making guide for you guys, so you can hit gold cap before the Legion hits. So as proof that I know what I'm talking about, we have our total gold acquired on this tune, and we're well over 2 mil. Probably going to 3 mil pretty quickly since I got down my farming to basically exactly what I need. So in this video, I will talk about a couple of ways you can make gold without TSM, which is Trade Skill Master, and add-on, which is really needed if you're serious about this. And and I'll start with first the ways you can make gold without without TSM, then I'll talk about gold in TSM. So what we have here is a bunch of gold. So most of this is from transmog actually. So transmog sells super well. Even on any server, even on the super low pop servers, you can still make gold off a transmog. The only thing is if you're on a low pop server, you're gonna have to farm for the very high end pieces. That means nothing in the middle, nothing low end, because those probably won't sell. But then again, you can easily corner the market, so it's really up to you. So this video, I'm not going to be going to spots. It's going to be using a lot of maps and stuff, so be prepared for that. So what we're going to talk about first is a very easy gold farm you can do on any tune that's level 100, even level 90, if you're really lucky, is Cataclysm Raids. So Cataclysm Raids you can do once a week. They give about around 2k gold each, 2 to 5k depending on what happens. And you can run this on every single alt you have. So if you have 10 alts, and this round trip usually makes you about 10k on average, you're selling everything. Not even, this is like all trash. No transmog selling, no auction house, no TSM, no nothing. Just selling everything and killing the bosses on 25-man heroic mode. Remember, 25-man heroic, because the other ones don't drop as much gold when you kill a boss. You could pull easily 100k a week by having 10 tunes. Even 3 tunes, you could pull 30k a week. That's almost plenty for your token, WoW token, etc. So the raids you're gonna do, you're gonna skip Baron and Hold, because it's pretty much garbage. Blackwing Descent is the first one. Is probably the easiest one. I think the only annoying boss is Malarak, because he has some weird last second like damage ability or whatever. So this guy just does like a ton of damage near the end, so you really need to like save all your cooldowns to finish him off at the end. But otherwise, really super easy with the buff that lets you hit for like, billions of damage and etc. Bastion of Twilight is the second raid. Now, I usually actually skip this one, so if you're already making enough gold and you don't need to do this, I would actually skip Bastion of Twilight because it's slightly annoying. On heroic mode, you do have Sinestra. And I personally don't have the fight down correctly, so sometimes I get killed like every single time because it's something you have to do with the eggs or whatever. So it's just really annoying to do. Also, the second boss, Delaran and Valonia, has this one-shot ability. I forgot what it's called. Let's see if we can get the ability up here. Is it Unstable Twilight? No. Twilight Zone. Alright, she has some Blackout. There you go. Blackout, for some reason, I don't know if they fixed it yet, but it still does about the same amount of damage. So you're going to get hit for like 300k or something ridiculous. So I don't know if they fixed that by now, but that's the only hard boss in there. So if you want to do kill the bosses in there, skip Throne of Four Winds because it's just really small. There's really no point unless you, I think, there's a mount. And then the last one is Firelands, which is extremely easy. The only hard time is Shanox, because he has an ability with his pets that if you're not a tank, the pet will stun you for 20 seconds, and there's no way to break out of that stun, so you will die pretty much if you're a DPS. You can kill him in tank spec, you can kill him in, if you're tank spec you can kill him. There are a couple other ways to kill him. You're going to have to look on the WoW forums for this, depending on your class, because it's pretty complicated if you don't have a tank spec, or any way to deal 20k damage burst to his pet while you're on the floor. And then the second guy, also, Balrog is a DPS check, so you have to have a pretty decent amount of DPS, otherwise you're going to die pretty quickly. Or if you have at least one heal, if you have at least 1% leech, you'll be fine on this boss. And lastly, Ragnaros himself, he has an ability that can knock you upwards. I get hit by it by accident. It's really easy to avoid, but if you get hit up in the air and you're not a rogue or a druid, you die in one shot. So, otherwise, Firelands is usually the one that everybody does. So, gold making tip number 1 is basically do your Cataclysm heroics. You'll get a lot of gold. Alright, so for gold making tip number 2 that does not require TSM, and it's basically the last one that doesn't require TSM, is in Draenor, Tanaan Jungle, and is herb and mining. So what you need is the stables, the Garrison stables, because that allows you to fly on your mount. I mean, not fly on your mount. You do need flying, though. If you don't have flying, then it's going to take a lot longer, and this probably won't be worth it. So you do need Draenor flying. You do need the stables, because that allows you to pick up herbs and mine while you're walking. You need 2 items that allow you to herb and mine faster. So, unfortunately, I don't have the map shown up. You can just look them up. Just Google faster herb, faster mining for Warlords of Draenor. But I can tell you, like, the average spot. So for the mining pick, it's right past here. It's around this area. It's on one of these hills. I think one of these hills right over here. So just watch my mouse closely. That's where you can get the mining pick. And then for the herb, it's super easy. Right on the edge of the map, at the very, very edge. I can zoom in. Alright. I didn't know that. At the very edge of the map, there's like a cave, and there's a rare spawn in there that you can kill for the herbalism gloves. So just kill that really super quickly, and you'll get your gloves. So what you're going to be doing is the route that I found to be the best, and this actually requires an add-on. So either you could fly around the whole place, so you're going to go in like a kind of like in a oval kind of. You're going to start from, so let's say Lion's Watch. You're going to go from Lion's Watch around the bottom all the way to Iron Front, and then you're going to go all the way around to the back. What you're going to skip is this area. Usually doesn't have that many herbs that I'm pointing to, and the whole back. So just cut off this piece of the island. Just completely shut it down. Shut it down. What do you call it? This part of the island has no herbs. So you can do that. Or if you have the add-on Cross Realm Assist, which allows you to, in one button, you can just join I think I have a video on it on somewhere on my channel. You can just click it, join server, realm hop pretty quickly. You're just going to follow the coast then. This coast right here has enough herb and mining spots. There are a couple of bots there, so if you see anybody really suspicious and like really low gear and moving very awkwardly, then you should probably just report them, because there are a lot of bots. But otherwise, this coast right here, you just go back and forth. So start from the top, go all the way to the end, then hit realm hop once you got all your herbs, then just do it over and over and over again. And that's about 5k per hour depending on your server. Fellblight has dropped a little bit, so it's kind of more about 3k an hour, but it's really simple, not complicated at all. You're just farming stuff. And depending on how fast you are, you can actually not even fight a single mob. There's almost no mobs here. It's like 1 or 2 crabs, but if you're fast enough, you can usually mine and herb before the crabs come. So sell Fellblight. Every time you get the Fellblight, put it on the auction house. They're like around 100G each on most servers. My server, unfortunately, is 80G each. Lastly, the last thing I almost forgot completely is your Garrison. I'm on a level 70 tune, so I don't have the Garrison, but once you get to 90, you have to do the quest to get your Garrison. So once you get your Garrison will give you all the gold. So I do have a video of that on my channel, I think also, or just Google Garrison Gold Guide. There's like a billion of them. I'm not going to go into the Garrisons because it's a lot of stuff, but it is an absolute powerhouse moneymaker. It can usually, and if you have 10 characters, you can make easy like 50k a day within an hour just for clicking buttons and stuff. So it's pretty insane. Alright, so now let's talk about TSM. So for TSM, so if you don't have this add-on, it's a little complicated. Not really. Google a TSM guide. I do also have one on my channel again, but it's a little bit outdated, so I don't know if it works. So I definitely just Google TSM 2016, and that should give you a guide for it. So basically, what it does is I make a group. I put all the items in, do the add button. I make some operations. So for example, if you want to copy this, this is actually probably good advice. If you want to copy my operation, here it is. I have it to 20 hours, post cap 2, because you don't want to flood the market. That will drive down the prices. I put bid percent around 95 to 97%, just so sometimes people bid. If you really don't care about getting the max value for your items, I would say put this at maybe 85%. And then you can go crazy with that, and maybe you'll get some bids. Undercut amount, I only do 1G. What do you call it? Because I have another add-on for specifics. And then for my prices, you have to download the TSM app for this to work. So you download the TSM app. I have 30% DB global market average. Maximum price 150% DB global market average, and at normal price 110%. When it's below minimum, I don't have it posting. And when above maximum, I have it posted at maximum. And one last thing, I don't know where to find it though. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, here. Make sure this is checked. Absolutely, make sure this is checked because basically this skips the of the whale, of the eagle, of the bear, those little things, because you'll put up auctions, and then you'll notice that you're getting undercut because there's different versions of the item. So if you check this app checks for all versions. So what does it do? It makes you a ton of gold. So I just left two things, for example. Actually, this is herbs, so never mind. Well, this is what you can get from herbs. So I sold 87 herbs for 106G or whatever. So for example, here's a schematic that I got during the T-Mog farm. So I got 710G. And we'll just show off the add-on really quickly. So I just hit auctioning, I hit post scan, and then it's going to scan all the items, and then I just click post like 1,000 times, but we're not going to sit through that right now. And so we're going to talk about now where you're going to T-Mog farm. So this is very lucrative. A lot of people complain like, oh my god, you can't make money with this. How the hell am I supposed to make money with this? Blah blah blah. You know, you got all those little nerds or whatever you want to call them. Probably the wrong word, but whatever. Probably triggered some people. You got all those people that love to bitch and complain about this market because they just don't know how to play it. It's that simple. So if you really want to make a ton of money, but you will need at least 5 hours a day to do this, or 4 to 5 hours a day. It really depends on how you want to do it. So I would say you need to at least have 10 hours a week WoW playtime to make this worth it. Otherwise, there's really no point doing this. So the major T-Mog farming I said Spart. It's not even a word. Is Ankarji, the Fallen Kingdom. I really wish I had the maps. I'm showing you guys invisible maps. But anyway, Silthus, 50 to 60, and Glamador. The kingdom is somewhere over here on the bottom. It even has its own zone that's completely empty. I'm not exactly sure why Blizzard did that. It's a little bit weird. But AQ10. So actually, let me see. Did they add adventure guides for this? Because I don't remember if they added vanilla. No, they didn't. So unfortunately, I can't actually look at the instance. But what you want to do is AQ10. That's the small one above ground. If you go into an AQ instance and you're going underground, you're in the wrong instance. You should not be going underground. And that drops the most rarest T-Mog. So I'm not sure if I can get a map up of it, but we'll try to get a map of the actual... Alright, I can't actually get a map of this. So let's see, Silthus. Encourage the Fallen Kingdom. Yeah, unfortunately there's no map in-game. But basically what you're going to be killing, so just get out Google again, is silicate feeders. So silicate feeders are near the back of the instance. If you go to the... I'm trying to think of the map. If you go to your right, so west, yes. If you go west and a little bit down, you'll find these little worms called silicate feeders. So it's kind of like pretending this is the map. It's actually kind of the map. But it's like around this area. And you'll find silicate feeders. They're not hostile, so you actually have to run up and tag them and kill them. And they drop the rarest T-Mog in the game. I'm talking about super expensive, high quality stuff. And I have actually two examples. I got super lucky. I got two of the most expensive T-Mog pieces. I keep making up words. Pieces. Glorious leg plates of the bear. So let's click it. So this is for what they call slut mog. I don't know why that's a term, but it makes sense because this set, basically you could see like your character's boobs or something with the chest piece or whatever. It's, you know, it's childish to me, but apparently, you know, this thing is worth 120k. So that's absolutely insane. So this is worth 120k. That's one of them. So I got that off a silicate feeder. And the other one is Vanguard leggings, which I also got off a silicate feeder. And this one's worth about 50, 60, it says 68k about average, depending on all servers. So that will get you a ton of gold. So what you want to do is basically you just run into that place. You just run into that raid, kill the silicate feeders, just figure out where all the spawns are, kill them all, run out, run back in, run out, run back in. And you can do that 10 times an hour until you get the raid lockout. And that will make you the most gold. These things will take a while to sell though, especially the super expensive ones, depending on your server. Like I have a serious amount of competition. I only have one guy who actually has glorious leg plates. That's how rare they are. There's like nobody who has them. So I'm only dealing with one guy with this. But with Vanguards, I'm dealing with a bunch of people. Back to the Garrisons, I forgot to mention the salvage yard. If you get the Garrison, make sure you get a salvage yard. Once you get to salvage yard level 3, you'll be able to open up boxes. and these boxes contain random items in the game, and you can get super lucky like me and get a Blade of Wizardry out of your random salvage yard box. So it looks like it's like a lightsaber T-Mog. I think they did that for May 4th, or what was it? Star Wars Day or something like that? I forgot what it was, but they Blizzard did something where all the guards had this weapon, so this weapon's extremely popular. On my server, unfortunately, there's like 50 billion people selling it. Oh, that looks pretty sick. There's like 50 people selling it, so unfortunately it's only worth for 8K on my server, but it's like 15 on average. Alright, so that's the main transmog spot. So if you only want to focus on that, that's fine. That's the biggest, most money you can make in a transmog spot. And now I'm just going to recommend a couple of other instances to do. So, for Cataclysm, do not do any of the dungeons. For Mr. Pandaria, do not do any of the dungeons. Warlord's Draenor, definitely do not do any of the dungeons. Wrath of Lich King, do not do any of the dungeons. Burning Crusade, you can kind of get away with some stuff. There are a couple of decent pieces, but it's definitely not worth it. You want to stick to level 15 to 20. So, the instances that are good, I'll tell you right now. Black Fathom Deaths is pretty decent because almost nobody farms this because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get in and it's a pain in the ass to get out. So the T-Mog here is pretty decent. It also drops patterns that people don't bother farming. So you'll usually get some good money out of here. You know what, might as well just rate all the instances. It's still here. Blackrock Deaths is okay. This is like mid-range T-Mog. If you're on a low pop server, this probably won't do you any good. So it's okay. I wouldn't recommend it though. Dead Mines is absolutely terrible unless you get lucky with some kind of Defias gear. I think Defias sets or something like that drops. But you have to get really lucky with that and make sure it's on normal mode. Once again, kind of a pain in the ass to get into, so almost nobody farm. I mean, a lot of people farm it because they want the Defias stuff, but otherwise I don't recommend it at all. Dire Maul. Dire Maul is pretty crazy because it has a chance to drop the Orb of Deception, which is worth 11k. But it has 4 wings, so the 2 wings that are worth it. So I'll just tell you guys how it works out. Let me actually get the map out. You won't be able to see it, which will suck, but I think I can kind of navigate this. Alright, so Dire Maul is right over here. It's in, what's the zone? Not Desolace. Pharales over here. So to your left, so left, to the, wait, did I say west on the other thing? Oh shit, I said west on the other thing. I meant east on the on the worms, but west. Back to Dire Maul. So west is the undead portion. So if you start seeing ghosts, trees, and like arcane elementals, you're in the right spot. That spot has pretty good T-Mog. It's pretty decent. To the right, you have a lot of trees and a lot of demons. So if you find trees and demons, it's also a decent spot. Not as good as the ghost spot, but it's pretty okay. And then to the north, you have ogres. If you start seeing ogres, turn around. Ogres are not the instance for some reason only drops me like 1 to 2 greens. It's absolutely horrendous. Never do it. Speaking of, this is a non-instance one, but a very popular one. In Thousand Needles, right over here, where you see this puddle. There's like a pirate cave, and there's these ogres you can kill, and they drop the extremely rare saltstone pieces. I don't really recommend it now though because it's absolutely farmed to death. The prices have just tanked insanely. They might go up in Legion, but if you don't want to do an instance, you can farm ogres in this cave. That's also the second most popular T-Mog spot. Alright, so let's go back to the, what do you call it? The guide. Alright, hope you guys are sticking with me on this one. Just bear with me. We're almost done. Gnomergen, a place it's probably the biggest pain to get in and out of. Absolutely big instance, very long, multiple floors, absolutely horrible. Don't even touch it. If you're bored and let's say you have over 500 T-Mog peaches, see, I'm saying the wrong words again. T-Mog peaches. If you have like over 500 T-Mog pieces and you don't feel like running the same old stuff over and over again, then maybe it would be okay, but it's absolutely horrible. Lower Blackrock Spire. This place is like a love-hate relationship. Because there's not that many level 55 mobs out in the world, in the vanilla world, since the Cataclysm changes. So this place has a bunch of them, but the drops are really bad. Some drops are really good. It's really heavy RNG, Lower Blackrock Spire. So it really depends on your luck, pretty much, if you can get anything out of there. I do run it pretty often if you're Alliance, because the instance is like 5 seconds away. Marauder then has some really extremely rare pieces, but it's absolutely horrible. It's split up into 2 separate parts, has multiple floors. I think once you kill the last boss, it's going to take you like 10 minutes probably to escape the dungeon. Do not run it. Ragefire Chasm. Now this is kind of funny because this is the first instance in the game, and for some reason it still has value. There's a lot of I think it's called Aboriginal or like really like tribesman stuff kind of T-Mog that averages about 400 to 1k a piece, and it's a really easy instance to get back and forth out of. If you're Alliance, you'll have to deal with the guards, so you do need to be at least level 95 to survive this, to go back and forth. But if you're Horde, even at level 10 or whatever, you can run into this instance and you can start T-Mog farming at level 15 or whatever. But the prices are a little bit lower for Horde. Of course, Alliance is higher because this instance is in Ogrimmar. Razorfen Downs, and Razorfen Downs has some really expensive pieces, but due to the new changes this expansion, there's less mobs, unfortunately, so it's not as good as it used to be. There's a lot less mobs. Razorfen Crawl is like okay. If you're bored, it's kind of a good instance. Scarlet Hall's Monastery Skip, they were changed in MOP. I don't think they got rid of the Scarlet, some of the pieces, I think. I don't know if they brought them back. But these places are pretty horrible because it's basically like the MOP instance, so there's not that many mobs. Same thing with Skullomance. They changed it. It's not as good. There's not that many mobs. There's a lot of RPing, so you gotta wait. It's pretty horrible. Shadowfang Keep. Now, there's a lot of misleading guides on Shadowfang Keep saying, oh, this is the best spot ever. You will, unless you are on a low to about low medium pop server, there is no way in hell you are gonna make 60 plus K or whatever people are talking about, because there's literally only one item that's worth anything here, and it's the Shadowfang. It doesn't even look that cool, so there's not really that many people. The only people who are actually buying that item are like people who want it for collectors, basically collectors. Nobody's T-Mogging that thing because it's not really that cool looking. The thing is worth about 20 to 60k, but good luck with that dropping. I've ran this maybe 20 times without it dropping. All the other gear is absolute trash. There's like nothing of value. Do not do it. Strathholm. This is very good for medium. If you're looking for about medium sized, what I'm talking about, like medium price T-Mog, this is one of the best places. There's an undead side and a live side. Either side is good. The undead side is a little bit better because there's an absolute ton of mobs, like a whole 50 truck full of mobs, and you can round them all up and go into one little spot and then kill them all. And it drops some pretty decent T-Mog, so I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something else to do, if you get bored of AQ20. Stockade, not really that great. The only way you're making money off of this is if you get one of those rare blue drops. Also, if you're Horde, you have to fly into a building to get into this, so you will get killed by the guards if you're not 100. It's pretty horrible. Temple of Al-Hakar. I don't know why. This thing has some rare T-Mog in it, but for some reason, greens just refuse to drop. And I think that's because there's like a leatherworking pattern or something that takes up the drop chance. That's like bind on pick up. So like you get like 50 of this leather pattern and then maybe 1 or 2 greens. So unfortunately, it kind of sucks. Older Men is server dependent. There's a ton of mobs. It's a little bit annoying to get out of. At the end of the run, you're guaranteed about 2 greens because there's a chest at the end of every single run. Those greens aren't worth that much. And there's a couple of pieces that are super expensive in here. So this is pretty much at your own risk if you're going to do this. Sometimes you may come out with like a ton of good stuff. Sometimes you probably won't. Wailing Caverns, there's a blue drop in here. I forgot if it's Defias or Snakeskin or something like that. It's a blue like twink drop. The price has dropped dramatically. It's not as great. It's also a pain to get in and out of. So it's okay. Zul'Farrak is about the same as, what's that place? Stratholme. Zul'Farrak and Stratholme are about the same, just different loot drops. You're going to get about the same value out of these two. And speaking of Zul'Farrak, I guess I'll give up one of my spots. I did make a video on it, but not that many people know about it. There are a couple of videos on it. If you go to Tanaris and Tanaris, this is where Zul'Farrak is, where I'm mousing over. and you can fly over Zul'Farrak, and you can go to the stairs that's inside the instance itself, but outside the instance, and there's like at least 100 trolls dancing around. So basically, if you want to make some gold, you commit mass genocide of trolls, and they will drop your loot. So if you're into genociding trolls, then this might be your spot. So what do? You just get all the items. So I have tons of items. You go to your auction house. You can check the auctions. So for example, I'm actually going to check the prices on these real quick. So another add-on I'm actually using is Auctionator. I don't really know how to set it up. I kind of learned over time. But basically all I do with it is I put an item in. I go to sell. I check the item. If it does have like a name like of the bear, like this one, I do a quick check of this. So what I do is I remove this. I hit search, and so you can see somebody undercut me by 1k. So wow, really. So what I like to do, because I farm a lot, I have a lot of time to farm, so I just like to undercut by a decent amount. So we'll do 116. Like sometimes this actually backfires and drops the prices, but I don't care that much. Like if I can get at least 100k for this, I'm perfectly fine with that. Same thing with Blade of Wizardry. This has been a pain to sell. I think I'm just going to drop it for 1100. And Vanguard Leggings, there's only one type of this, so I can see all the people I have to fight with for this. Put it at 58,000. Make sure you put in the price correctly. There's so many times, because there's now an add-on with TSM sniping. I won't really go into this much. You can Google it. But basically, I can hit start sniper, and this is why you wonder, like, you know, when somebody buys your item, like, almost instantly you put it in the auction house. This is why, because basically this is set up to scan, and the second somebody puts up an item for a really dirt cheap price by accident or on purpose, it shows up on here, and literally I just have to scroll my mouse twice and I buy out the item. So make sure you put in the right price, because otherwise people like me profit off you pretty heavily. You can make a ridiculous amount of money off of this, because people love to sell mounts or trade and transfer mounts really quickly, and sometimes you can get them before they actually get to the other character. So you can make a ton of money sniping, but it's super boring. Sometimes nothing happens for like 20 minutes, so I don't really do it. So that's it. So if you follow even just one, well, except for the Cataclysm route. The Cataclysm route probably will not make you 1,000,000 gold by Legion. But if you follow any of those methods, you will have gold cap for Legion. So if you guys have any questions about this, or any questions about the methods, feel free to ask me below. I'm going to answer all your questions. And I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching as always. Feel free to subscribe for more videos. I won't have as many WoW videos because I think it's pretty obvious WoW is dying. I know a lot of people keep saying, no, it's the #1 MMO, blah, blah, blah. But right now, it's on its last legs until Legion comes out. And there's nothing I can make YouTube videos of, unless I do PvP, which I doubt I'll do. But that's a story for another day. So feel free to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys can at least get, I'd say a goal for you guys that I would set would be at least 200k. Have at least 200k for Legion. That should get you what you need, all your stuff. And also remember that Garrisons and Legion, the gold is being taken away from Garrisons once Legion hits. So Garrisons will not be a good way to make money. And transmog market, while they do make it account wide, so next patch, basically, for example, if I put on this piece, every character on this count can transmog this piece. So right now, only this character can transmog this piece, but once Legion comes out, everybody gets it. So it will affect the prices, but since there's no Garrison, which means a lack of gold coming into the economy from everybody, it should kind of even out. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.